Welcome back, folks. A little house cleaning before we start today's video. Now, I was playing Water Tanks Generals yesterday, and that game is pretty fun. And I was about to upload a video about it, but I used my brain first and asked if I could upload videos about Generals. Turns out there was a non-disclosure agreement, so yeah, thank God I think before I step into something terrible. So that goes to you too. So if you have a closed beta account with Water Tanks Generals or Armor Warfare or Water Warships or whatnot, think before you step into anything, because I know some people who are, oh, I need to get subscribers, I need to get viewers on my YouTube account and just post videos and violate non-disclosure agreements. So don't do that. You could get your YouTube account banned or copyright striked. You can get your Water Tanks account banned, and yeah, just don't be too greedy. That's first issue. And second news is that I was playing last Friday with a new physics test on the test server. Turns out the T62A as well as the AMX 5100 was bugged, so the turning speed of those two tanks were incorrect. So the second iteration of the physics test should be available soonish, hopefully, but yeah. So initial impressions were made on bugged vehicles, so that's not actually the correct evaluation, so to speak. Alright, so for today's video, I was playing with the Let's Go Camping weekend for last Saturday and Sunday. Basically, it features tank destroyers. So what the hell is it? I need to see. Oh, come on, guys. Alright, so let's go camping weekend. So basically, it was tank destroyers because they nerfed the shit out of them. And the irony is that we're gonna have an event about it the weekend of the nerf. So that would be funny. So I was playing, and surprisingly, there weren't that many tank destroyers. Now, there are a few, but there weren't as much. So you don't see like 10 tank destroyers per team. But still, there were no Waffentrigger E100 as often. There were no FE4005 Stage 2 as often, because those two tanks are pretty much crap now. Alright, but what is surprising is that when I was playing my Hellcat, nobody was playing the Hellcat whatsoever. Nobody. And I got 2 Radley Walters medal in one day just from playing the Hellcat. So yeah, that was weird. And I looked at my marks of excellence percentage with little markings. Turns out I have 99.08% better damage per their whole user base or player base. 99%? Are you guys kidding? Nobody plays the Hellcat anymore? That is crazy. Think about it this way. When the marks of excellence initially got introduced, it took so long to get to the first mark, let alone the second one. But now, I'm playing the Hellcat and nobody else is playing it. So I easily got the third mastery mark. Well, that was like a month ago, but I got to 99% from just playing a few games. Are you guys kidding me? I mean, the Hellcat is not bad, so yeah, so don't be discouraged about playing tank destroyers now, even though the nerf is somewhat drastic towards a few vehicles, but we'll discuss about that today. So today we'll look at the aftermath of the 9.6 patch and what it has done to tank destroyers. So I put everything up, so it should be good. So here it is. So here is the view range nerf for all the tank destroyers that got nerfed during this patch. So as you can see, the highest view range now is 390 meters for normal tank destroyers. Now you could have 400 meters view range with the Dicker Max, but that's a premium. So the best view range for tank destroyers now is 390 meters. Alright, so this chart doesn't tell us much, but just tells us the average view range drop and whatnot. So mostly drop were high tiers and low tiers. So high tiers got around 30 meters to 40 meters of drop, whereas low tiers got about 70 to 80-ish. So that's kind of crazy. So tanks like the like the T-82, that's a low tier. So that got dropped like 70, and the T-40 got dropped like 90. So that's pretty hard. Whereas the higher tiers like the Waffentrigger E100 got dropped like 40-ish, and the Panzer IV Waffentrigger dropped by 40-ish. So yeah, it's kind of rough. But here is the overall picture. So I have all the tanks right here. So as you can see, every tank destroyer in the game. And here's all of them that got nerfed. So as you can see, the Germans got hit hard. Oh my gosh. So basically, other than the premium tank, like the E25, the 88mm Jagdtiger, the rest got nerfed to shit. So basically, if you're playing the Stug 3G, as well as the Ferdinand and the Jagdtiger, you're fine. But the rest of these tank destroyers got nerfed to hell. So, as well as the Flat Panzer IV. So, yeah, Germans got hit hard. Next is probably the Russians / the Americans, one of which, but yeah, you cannot snipe with BL-10s and camp. So, yeah, they nerfed the crap out of the ISU. One of my favorite tanks, but oh well. So, ISU got nerfed. The Object 704 got nerfed. So, blah. Alright, for Americans, you mostly got nerfed on the lower end, as well as the tier 10s, so not that much. So, alright. British only got nerfed on the FE215B 183, so that's a big one. And the tier 2 to tier 4 is alright, it's minimal. The French got nerfed, so the tier 5, the S35CA, that got nerfed, as well as the AMX50 Foch, and the Foch 155. So, yeah, the Germans got hit hard with this nerf. Now, what is surprising is that even though the high tiers and low tiers got nerfed, nobody plays middle tiers tank destroyers, even though they were untouched. So nothing happened to them. So why is nobody playing the Hellcat? Like, I'm still seal clubbing with my Hellcat when I'm playing with it, and nobody plays it for some reason. It's not a bad tank destroyer, even though it got nerfed in like 2 patches ago with the KV-1S. But it's not a bad tank destroyer. It still has the amazing camo rating, as well as the decent amount of mobility. So I still can wreck face when I'm top tier in my Hellcat. And Radley Walters medal is so easy in that tank destroyer because I got like 7 or 8 of them. So I don't know why people are not playing middle tier tank destroyer. So yeah, that's interesting. Now, I put up today's video to help you play tank destroyer because I main tank destroyers. So you can see on my account. So as you can see, I play a lot of tank destroyer because tank destroyers are easy. You just camp in a bush and spot, or have your teammates spot, but it's pretty easy. So as you can see, 32% of all my vehicle type played is tank destroyer. So it's so easy to play and so rewarding because it has one of the highest win percent chance of my vehicles played. So tank destroyers 59%, as well as the heavy tanks and medium tanks, but it's better than artillery. So alright, but tank destroyers are pretty OP, and my rating, if you care about it, or if you care about your own ratings or efficiency rating, whatever, it's easier to increase it with tank destroyers because you just camp in a bush and deal damage. The more you hit and deal damage, so the better hit percent chance as well as damage per hit points of your tank accounted for, that will increase your efficiency rating by a lot. So tank destroyer is one of the best ways to increase that without that much effort. So today's video, I'll talk about how you can play tank destroyers and a few tips about, how to play it well, like what equipment to use, what crew skill to use, which tanks are pretty good. So I'll discuss it today. So for tank destroyers, you have 2 types. The first type is the traditional sniper. So you camp in a bush and you provide supporting fire. That's pretty much what tank destroyers are designed to do. The second type is the assault gun. So assault guns are actually used alongside with infantry. So their main purpose is to destroy bunkers and trenches and fortifications. So they have a lot of armor at the front, and you can play them like a heavy tank. So they're like a roadblock or ramming, battery ram, whatever you call those things. So yeah, two different types. So sniper first. So sniper are basically focused on staying hidden. So they don't want to be spotted. They want to avoid frontal combat. They have no armor to little amount of armor. So armor is not great, but they're pretty mobile. And they camp and keep locations and provide cover fire. So that's basically what snipers do. Now, what is important is to have camo as your crew skill because you want to stay hidden all the time. So camouflage is a very important crew skill. Drivers should have off-road driving to get to key locations pretty quickly. And loader, I generally go with intuition because I'll explain it. But intuition allows you to switch shells while you're reloading or have a shell reloaded. So what that is good for is, for example, you're camping in a bush with your hellcat. You see a light tank and you load high explosive getting ready for that tank. Suddenly, a medium tank comes into your view and you want to switch your shells before you engage and kill it. So if you engage that medium tank, you can kill it because it has low health, but your high explosive will not penetrate. So intuition gives you a chance to immediately switch the shell type even though you have a shell loaded. So what that means is that if you have high explosive loaded already, the intuition perk gives you a percentage chance when you press the reload button or switch shell type to immediately switch that shell and have the gun loaded. So basically magically replacing the loaded high explosive with the loaded AP. So basically that's what intuition does. It's very good for tanks with high reload timers like artillery, or tanks that has a lot of engagement or shell types. So hellcat is generally more beneficial to use this skill than safe stowage or adrenaline rush because you have no armor and getting hit is the last thing you want to do. So intuition is actually a little bit better than safe stowage or adrenaline rush. So I prefer intuition. Equipment, you want to have gun rammer. So if you can't fit a gun rammer, you'll fit it other than light tanks. So gun rammer is important. You want to have camouflage net as well as binoculars. So camping supreme. And you can demount or dismount all these equipments, these two, because these are portable. So that's good. And example vehicles are like the Hellcat, which is very good sniper, the Rheinmetall Borsig, and the Su-122-54. So sniper tanks with moderate to no armor, but very mobile. So get into key positions and snipe. The second type we have is the assault guns. Now assault guns are basically heavy armored breakthrough tanks, if you will. So they basically are slower than snipers. They're used for direct confrontations against heavy tanks or mediums mostly. They are deterrents, so they're like a roadblock to choke off a choke point or bridge or something. So they have armor and they are pretty hard targets to penetrate for medium tanks and light tanks. But they're not as mobile, so they provide direct fire, so they're the front lines, and they could be used for support. Now, main crew skills are generally repairs, because you mostly get your tracks knocked out and something like that, so repairs are good. Clutch braking, so you can turn to flankers like mediums or lights, so you need to have that extra traverse on your hull. And safe stowage to prevent your ammo racks from being blown up. So you have the armor, so safe stowage and adrenaline rush does work pretty well considering it has armor. So equipment, you should have a gun rammer. You could go with enhanced gun lane drive if you feel that your gun needs a little bit more accuracy or aim time reduction. You could go with binoculars to increase your view range. That also works well. You could put a toolbox if you don't have repair skills on your crew. And small liner if you feel that artillery is being a pain to your ass. So small liner works. Now a few examples of vehicles that are assault guns, such as the AT-2 with the British Tier 5, the Ferdinand for the German Tier 8, and the T110E3, T110E4. So basically, those are assault guns. They have armor at the front, and they have a very punchy gun. So they're used for main frontal engagements. Now, what is good on both tanks is basically 6 cents. 6 cents is good on all tanks. So the sooner you know you're spotted, the sooner you move out of the way or take cover from artillery. So 6 cents is always good. Recon give you more view range, as well as situational awareness. So more view range means that you'll see the danger beforehand. And vents is good, but vents is better on assault guns because you don't really need camouflage. Whereas on sniper tanks, I highly recommend you put a camouflage net instead of vents, because vents doesn't add that much to your DPM. Vents does help with the clutch braking as well as the reload as well as the repairs, so it's a little bit better on assault guns. So now I'll demonstrate it with a few gameplays of the tanks or different tank destroyers that I have and how I set them up within the game. So here we go. And here are all the tank destroyers that I have. Now notice the skills as well as equipment corresponding to different types of tank destroyers. So the Hellcat is a classic sniper, and because it has camouflage cruise training, as well as camouflage net, binoculars, intuition on the loader, situational awareness on the radio operator, off-road driving, snapshot, and 6 cents. These will all help with my staying hidden of the tank, as well as Brothers in Arms, which helps with the traverse of this tank destroyer, which is not that great, as well as the reload and other stuff. So if you can't get Brothers in Arms, get it because it's useful. But for the first skill, if you're playing a sniper, I recommend you get camouflage. So like this crew on my Stug 3. So basically camouflage all the way. Now when you reach second skill, I recommend you to switch out the commander for 6 cents. And the gunner could have snapshot if you have a turret, but snapshot is still pretty good. The driver could get off-road driving to increase the mobility. The loader could get repairs or whatever, so don't switch it out just yet. So don't switch to intuition or safe stowage or whatnot, not just yet, because the less money you have to spend on your crew retraining as well as the experience, the better. So every time you don't spend gold on crew retraining, you have to spend money. So basically if you want to reset skill, you have to use money. So yeah, I don't want to do that. That'll take a long time. So the less you have to reset, the better. So wait for it. And once you get to the third skill, so you have the repairs ready. So switch it out to Brothers in Arms. Switch out to... Now for a few tank destroyers, I have Deadeye as the first skill or perk because the type of guns they use are actually high module damage. And what that means is that if you shoot at a tank and if you manage to hit something like the ammo rack or the fuel tanks, it is easier with Deadeye to cause them to explode with the ammo rack explosion, or fuel tank fires, or destroy the engine or tracks. So high caliber tank destroyers like the Rheinmetall Borsig could benefit with Deadeye, as well as the Jagdpanzer E100, because the module damage of the 170mm gun is crazy good, and even better with Deadeye. So Deadeye does help with instantly killing a lot of tanks. So for example, I one-shotted a full health Object 268 with this thing. So that's pretty crazy. So that's the awesomeness of Deadeye. So use it on high caliber guns on tank destroyers like the Rheinmetall Borsig, the ISU with the BL-10. Very good handy perk. So very nice. So basically for the first a few skills, go with camouflage net or camouflage as your first skill. When you reach the second skill, try not to switch just yet. So try to have like snapshot on your gunner, your off-road driving on your driver and whatnot. So this is the example. When you reach the third skill, try to switch out to something like this with Deadeye as your first skill on your gunner. Something like this, safe stowage, even though I really want to switch this one out because you don't really need safe stowage on a armorless tank destroyer. So I might switch this out for intuition, but eh. So yeah, and once you reach the 4th skill, so recon is good, snapshot or camouflage again if you already have Deadeye, so that's good. Clutch braking also helps, and go with safe stowage and repairs, so for your loaders. So this is how the skills should look like if you're playing a sniper. Now playing assault guns is a little bit different because assault guns doesn't have the camo rating like the sniper tanks. So assault guns like the T-28 is basically an assault gun. It's slow, it has armor at the front, but I played this thing a little bit more campy because it's so slow to be an assault gun, so I just can't base like every Doom Turtle there is. So camouflage is good, but I'll probably switch this out to repairs or something like that when I have the T95. So when I switch that out. But when you reach the 2nd skill, so initially you could go with camouflage or you could go with repairs. But when you reach the 2nd skills, it'll be something like this. So commander, you want to switch out to 6th Sense. The gunner, you want to have Deadeye. Alright, which is pretty good. The driver should have off-road driving as well as clutch braking because it's a slower traverse of a tank destroyer. The radio operator should have situational awareness. The loader should have safe stowage, and the other loader, if you have 2, should have adrenaline rush or intuition depending on your choice. But safe stowage is very important because you don't want to have your ammo rack knocked out and instantly blow up. So yeah. Now when should you use female crew members? Well, that depends on which tank destroyers or which tanks you like, but basically I use my female crews on my Jagdpanzer E100 because the first tank destroyer I played, or the first tank line, is basically the Stoke 3, leading up to the Ferdinand, leading up to the Jagdtiger, leading up to this thing. So this is actually my first tank line, but not my first tier 10. So yeah, I feel a little bit obligated to give my female crews to this thing. Besides, who wouldn't want to see 2 female crews handling a 175mm shell just like into the gun breech? But yeah, it's better to have your female crews on a tank you actually like. And I would recommend you put them into like tier 9s and tier 10s because higher tiers deserves better, right? So basically, with assault guns, you want to have Brothers in Arms or Sisterhood of Steel, as they call it, 6th Sense on the commander, repairs again, and if it has a high caliber, I recommend you have Deadeye, clutch braking on the driver, situational awareness on the radio operator, safe stowage, and adrenaline rush for the 2 loaders, and then repairs again. So when this reach 100%, I'll probably get recon for the commander because that's the next best thing. So recon is good. The gunner would probably have snapshot because why not? Accuracy is best. The driver should have off-road driving, so that's the next skill. The radio operator could have whatever her heart desires, probably firefighting. So you don't really need signal boosting, so that's actually useless. Relay is also useless. Call for vengeance useless. So firefighting. So keep yourself alive. Keep yourself carrying the game. So you don't need your teammates. Whatever. So for the other loader, you could go with intuition, but that would take some time, and it's a perk. So yeah, it's gonna take some time. Or you could go with firefighting to prevent yourself from being put into flames again after the first fire extinguisher. So yeah, it depends on you. So intuition is not a bad choice afterwards, but you could go with camouflage. But the Jagdpanzer E100 is not known for camouflage or camo rating. So that's basically how you should modify your tanks. So as you can see, the Jagdpanzer E100 has a gun rammer as well as vents and enhanced gunling drive instead of binoculars and camo nets. So the same goes for the Jagdtiger, even though I use this a little bit more campy-ish, so it has a binoculars instead. But yeah, if you don't have a tank with a gun rammer, so basically like the Waffentrigger E100, it cannot carry a gun rammer. So I use enhanced gun length drive, camouflage nets, and binoculars because you cannot put vents onto this thing. You cannot put anything else that's worthwhile. So spall liner is useless because the turret is god awful. Coda optics is not the best because you shouldn't move that much, but whatever. So yeah, this thing will collect dust until they release the Waffentrigger off Panther to switch it, but oh god. So yeah, now you can see the difference between sniper tanks like the SU-100M1 to something like assault guns like the Yak Tiger. That's the best example I have, or the AT-8. But I hate this thing. I really hate it. I just like gun rammer, toolbox. I'm not gonna spend 600,000 credits on vents. No, thank you. So yeah, most tank destroyers are snipers because they have no armor, and it's only after tier 8 or tier 7 that most nations get assault guns. So if you look at the tech tree, most tank destroyers are basically snipers until you get to like tier 8 with the T-28 prototype and the T-28. So these are assault guns pretty much, or heavy tanks. The British basically has all assault guns unless you're playing the newer introduced tank destroyers with the Archer or the Achilles or the Challenger. So that's the new tank destroyers, but the old one is assault guns. The Germans got nerfed hard, so you have the glass cannon with the Romtel Borsigs or the Waffentriggers, but the initial line is basically sniper, assault gun-ish, assault gun, assault gun, assault gun. So alright. The French is sniper, assault gun-ish, assault gun-ish, assault gun, assault gun. So the Russian is they are special. So snipers with the SU-100M1, SU-101. So these are snipers with the Object 263 as assault gun / sniper because it has armor and accuracy and camouflage rating. So this one is special. But the SU-152 line is basically derp guns. So these are like, fuck you, I don't care. So these play like fat snipers with a giant bazooka. So that's basically what that line is. They have armor is not that great, but they have a giant cannon. So that's the Russians. That goes with the SU-100M1. So yeah, the Chinese doesn't have tank destroyers as well as the Japanese. So that's pretty much it. But that's how you can classify tank destroyers, because most tank destroyers under tier 8 are snipers, and anything else above tier 8 is generally sniper / assault gun hybrids, unless you're playing the Waffentriggers, but that's a whole different story. Now there are a few tanks that are not really snipers or assault guns. So tanks like the T-30 is a heavy tank, because originally this was the tier 10 heavy tank before they introduced the T110E5. So I played this thing like a heavy tank. So yeah, everything is like a heavy tank, but it's not that different from assault guns. So you still have repairs on a few skills and safe stowage as well as adrenaline rush. You have Deadeye for the gunner because it's a giant gun, 150 millimeter. So you want to punch holes. 155, I think. Yeah, I'm mistaken that one. Alright, and recon for the commander. So it's a heavy tank. So alright. So to summarize, the aftermath of the 9.6 nerf to tank destroyers is that it mostly affects low tiers and tier 10s, with the exception of the Germans because Russian bias. So basically you can still play snipers at medium tiers, and vehicles like the Hellcat, the Jackson, the T25/2, the Achilles, and the Archer got passively buffed because their competition got nerfed. So they got buffed-ish. Same goes for the SU-100M1 and the SU-101 and the SU-122-54. So these still play like a sniper. Pretty good. And you can still play assault guns the same way as you played before because assault guns didn't get changed that much. So vehicles like the T-28, the prototype, the Concept, the British, the Ferdinand, the Yak Tiger. Yeah, they play the same, so they still have armor and plays the same. And tier 10 assault guns like the T110E3, the E4, the Yak Panzer E100, and the FE215B183. The view range only got nerfed by 10 meters or so not that much. So they still play the same. So in general, the nerf is mostly directed towards low tiers and the Germans. So yeah, Germans got hit hard. So wah wah wah. But yeah, I highly recommend you playing like the Hellcat because passively buffed tank destroyers are still pretty goddamn good. So there's nothing to complain about. Now, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I've been talking for like 30 minutes. My mouth is parched, but hope you guys enjoyed it. Rate this video if you can. That was helping out a lot. And special shout out to 13th Commander, Thunder, and Psychic Electron because those guys helped me with personal missions. And they normally just ask me to platoon with them, which I'm fine with and get my missions out of the way. But yeah, shout out to those guys for helping me with the game. It takes like a billion years to get 6 crews for the Yak Panzer E100 because I'm stupid and I choose a tank destroyer with 6 crew slots for female crews. Wonderful. So hopefully you guys learn a little bit more about tank destroyers because I main tank destroyers and they're pretty much easy. So they're the easiest to increase your personal rating, whatever you call it, efficiency. So hope you guys enjoyed it. Subscribe to my channel for more World of Tanks stuff. Leave a comment below or any questions you might have about tank destroyers. And as always, thank you guys for watching. And I'll see you guys next time. Peace. Blah, blah. Alright, tier 8. So, it's alright. We can handle tier 8s, no problem. Blah, blah. Blah. We'll do it live! We always do it live. Thinking back on it, it's been 1 year since I posted my Type T34 video. That's crazy. That's 1 year. That's 1 year since I said we'll do it live on my first review of the Type T34. But so long ago. Okay, we can see that Ramato Borsig is covering that side. We can see that we only have a Panther and a KV2 and a T150 on this side. Nah, I'm not going on this side. Statistically speaking, I should go on the other side because I have a better chance to survive.
Move out.
So, yeah, I'm going to the other side. Hold on. Yeah, I'm not going on that side. No thanks. You guys could have it. I'll stick with the tier 8 since they could be like meat shields and take up hits better. So the Hellcat has very good mobility, but doesn't have armor. So that's mostly true for all tank destroyers that are classified as snipers. So you don't want to play like that Hellcat because he is frontally engaged right now. So he is on the front lines. You want to hang back a little bit. Just a little bit. Now what we don't want is have the artillery shoot at the T-71 and hits us instead. That was high. But let's have the tank destroyers pull up, or the heavy tanks pull up. The VK-3601, he's not gonna last long. Artillery took a shot, not at him. Light tank is punching holes. We'll stay here for the now time being. The Hellcat pulls away. Smart move. What represents by the Hellcat pulling away is that there might be less tanks on this flank down the other one. So that might signal to the Hellcat that we should run away. But for now, let's punch holes. He's running away. Scared!
Enemy armor is destroyed.
How the hell did I kill him? Alright, GG. Alright, 6. He's on a hill behind us. We could pull up a little bit because our camouflage rating is OP. Oh, okay, IS-6. I had to switch to gold. Okay. How much penetration with my gold, 200. Ooh, that's good. He is slope upwards.
We didn't even scratch them.
Slope upwards. Okay, the Ramtel Borsig is using the 150.
Enemy is hit.
We want XP. So, yeah, initial initial reactions from the Hellcat running away is that there's less tanks on this flank because the Hellcat is not a bad player, and you can read his reactions and make judgment calls. So by him running away, that signals that there is less tanks on this flank than what there actually is.
Got him.
And we just knocked out their best player. GG. Okay. Missed. We're tied. So always provide support because you're low tier and you're playing a sniper, so you don't have the armor to engage up front. Always provide sniping fire and take out targets if you can. If not, just provide annoyance mostly. Okay, he is side scraping, but
We didn't penetrate their armor.
that angle is not gonna hit. KV3 is a better target.
Enemy armor is hit.
The mantlet is a little bit weak on the KV3. That's the only weak parts about this heavy tank.
That one didn't go through.
Side scraping. Bad shot. Side scrape pretty hard.
Enemy armor is damaged.
Too much though. Okay, he showed me his sides. Don't pull up too much. I cannot.
Enemy is hit.
Oh, come on. That was a killing shot. Dang it. So. Oh, bumps the Borsig. Come on, guys, don't die. Stay behind buildings. Or front. Bad. Come on.
Target acquired.
So we have to carry. That's fine. Have 2 high explosives. We have to make this one shot. Okay. We have a hill in front of us. We have a direct line of fire.
We didn't even scratch them.
He is tracked. We should win. No, we won. So that's how you play support when you're low tier or the bottom tier. Simple as that. You don't want to frontally engage. Just don't do that. I could just rush for the artillery like a crazy retard, but we're not gonna win by that way. So yeah, even though we didn't do that well in my opinion, but we're still the top because we still did a lot of damage. So that's basically how you play sniper tanks or sniper tank destroyer.